The Sacred Warrior. Introduction. The concept of the sacred warrior embodies a multifaceted approach to living with purpose and integrity. It invites us to explore 7 essential principles: courageous compassion, mindful awareness, resilient strength, authentic leadership, empowering connection, transformative service, and holistic balance. Each of these principles encourages us to cultivate inner strength while fostering empathy and understanding in our interactions with the world. By embracing the sacred warrior ethos, we equip ourselves to face challenges with grace and courage, becoming agents of positive change in our communities and beyond. The sacred warrior is a powerful archetype that represents the balance between strength, discipline, and the deeper qualities of compassion, self-awareness, and purpose. This concept is rooted in the idea that true strength does not solely lie in physical prowess or the ability to dominate others, but in the ability to use one's power for protection, healing, and service to a higher good. Key aspects of the sacred warrior. Strength through vulnerability. The sacred warrior acknowledges that vulnerability is a source of strength. Instead of hiding emotions or weaknesses, they recognize that opening up to emotional experiences, whether it's fear, pain, or love, allows them to grow and evolve. It's the courage to face inner battles that distinguishes a sacred warrior from the traditional idea of masculinity. Vulnerability becomes a path to authenticity, deepening their connection with themselves and others. Awakening or activating the characteristic of strength through vulnerability is a powerful journey of self-awareness, emotional courage, and personal growth. Here are some specific actionable steps one can take to develop this trait. Acknowledge and accept vulnerability. Self-reflection. Start by reflecting on your personal fears, insecurities, and areas where you feel vulnerable. Journaling can be a helpful tool to identify the emotions or situations that trigger discomfort. Affirm vulnerability. Accept that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. Remind yourself that emotional openness leads to deeper connections and inner resilience. Use affirmations like, "My vulnerability makes me strong," or "Being open allows me to grow." Share honestly with trusted people. Safe spaces. Begin by sharing your feelings and challenges with people you trust, friends, partners, or mentors who will listen without judgment. Practice being open about your struggles rather than keeping them to yourself. Small steps. You don't have to dive into deep vulnerability immediately. Start with smaller admissions like, "I'm feeling overwhelmed," or "I'm not sure what to do about this situation," and notice the sense of relief that comes with it. Develop emotional literacy. Name your emotions. One key step in embracing vulnerability is learning to identify and name your emotions. This can be as simple as saying, "I feel sad," or "I'm anxious about this project." Expand emotional vocabulary. Increasing your emotional awareness helps you better understand your feelings and express them to others. This can include recognizing emotions like frustration, longing, confusion, or joy. Take responsibility for your emotions. Own your feelings. Instead of blaming others for how you feel, take responsibility for your emotions. Acknowledge that these feelings are yours and they're valid, no matter what caused them. Reframe negative emotions. Try to see vulnerability as an opportunity for growth rather than a risk of being hurt. When you share honestly, you take control of your narrative, shifting from victimhood to empowerment. Practice vulnerability in conversations. Be authentic. When having conversations, try to drop the mask or facade of always being tough or perfect. Share your authentic thoughts, even if they include uncertainty or doubt. Listen deeply. When others are vulnerable, listen without trying to fix them or immediately offer advice. Simply hold space for their feelings. This also helps cultivate empathy and mutual understanding, which in turn makes it easier for you to open up. Accept imperfection and failure. Embrace mistakes. Vulnerability often involves accepting your imperfections. Commit to taking action, even if it's not perfect. If you make a mistake, be open about it. Say, "I don't know," or "I got this wrong," without feeling ashamed. Growth mindset. Understand that failure is a necessary part of growth. Every time you face a challenge or setback, view it as an opportunity to strengthen your emotional resilience. Challenge your fear of judgment. Push through fear. Many people avoid vulnerability because they fear judgment or rejection. Start small by sharing something personal and pay attention to how others respond. More often than not, you'll find people respect and appreciate your honesty. Reframe judgment. Remember that other people's opinions of you do not define your worth. The strength in vulnerability comes from knowing that your value is not tied to external validation, but to your own inner truth. Set boundaries while being vulnerable. Discernment in sharing. Vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing. It's essential to choose wisely who you share intimate details with and when. Practice being selective about who you open up to, ensuring it's in an environment of trust. Healthy boundaries. Set boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. Be clear about what you're comfortable sharing and with whom. Vulnerability is powerful when done in the right context, not forced. Engage in self-compassion practices. Be kind to yourself. When you feel vulnerable, offer yourself kindness and compassion. Speak to yourself as you would a close friend, offering comfort rather than criticism. Self-compassion can help alleviate the fear of being exposed or judged. Forgive yourself. If you make a mistake or feel like you've shown too much vulnerability, forgive yourself quickly. Remind yourself that vulnerability is part of being human and that it's okay to be open about your imperfections. Engage in creative or expressive outlets. Art, music, or writing. Use creative expression as a way to practice vulnerability. Write poetry, draw, or make music that expresses your deeper emotions. These activities create a safe space to explore vulnerability without immediate confrontation. Share your art. If you're comfortable, share your creative work with others. Allowing people to see your emotional world through art can be a less direct but powerful way of practicing vulnerability. Find role models of vulnerable strength. Learn from others. Find role models who embody strength through vulnerability. This could be public figures, authors, or even friends and mentors. Study their journeys and notice how their openness has made them stronger. Brené Brown's work. Explore resources from researchers like Brené Brown, who has extensively studied vulnerability, shame, and courage. Her talks and books offer insights on how embracing vulnerability leads to personal and professional growth. Engage in deep inner work. Therapy or coaching. Work with a therapist or coach to explore areas where vulnerability feels difficult. This can provide a safe space to unpack deep fears and learn practical tools for expressing emotions constructively. Shadow work. Explore the parts of yourself that you keep hidden, your shadow self. By bringing your hidden fears, shame, and insecurities to light, you begin to integrate them, which fosters a deeper level of self-acceptance and emotional strength. Engage in practices that connect body and emotion. Breath work or yoga. Activities like yoga, meditation, or breath work can help connect your body to your emotions. Sometimes, vulnerability is blocked by tension in the body, and releasing this tension can make it easier to connect with your inner feelings. Mindful reflection. Practice mindfulness to become more attuned to your emotional states. This awareness can help you notice when you're resisting vulnerability and allow you to consciously soften that resistance. These steps provide a practical framework for activating strength through vulnerability, whether in personal relationships, professional life, or spiritual growth. By embracing vulnerability, one discovers that it's not only a key to personal empowerment, but also the foundation of deeper, more authentic connections with others.